All right there, everyone. CNN's colossal collapse. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. There is no question that this week has been an utterly devastating, abysmal week for CNN. Not only do we have the Project Veritas covert videos exposing rampant corruption and left-wing anti-Trump bias throughout the so-called news network, but you had a Democratic debate hosted by CNN that literally nobody watched. The ratings are in the tank. They're laying off workers, and now even their airport monopoly is coming to an end. They won't even be having commuters stuck in an airline gate to talk to anymore. We're going to look at all of this and why it all signals nothing short of the end of CNN. They just don't know it yet. A quick note, I pinned a comment below that has a link to our email newsletter. In the midst of all the nutty left-wing cancel culture that's going on out there, the deplatforming, it's more important than ever that we have ways of staying in contact with one another. And you can do that by signing up for my email newsletter at the link below. Plus, you get lots of cool updates and insights and the like. And those of you on Facebook, I provided a link for you to like my Facebook page where we post tons of articles on the rise of a new conservative age there. I think you're going to really like it. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's our good friends over at My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply food kit lasts up to 25 years in storage. It includes breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. And if you act now, you'll actually save $70 on a 2-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website by clicking on the link below. Now, this is a limited time offer, so don't wait for an emergency to happen before you respond to one. Take action by clicking on the link below and save $70 with your 2-week emergency food kit today. All right, I can't even, I can't count the amount of articles and commentaries that are out there this week pronouncing, in effect, the death of CNN. What we affectionately refer to here as the clown news network, right? Now, of course, these pundits are competitors, right? So they're like sharks sensing the bleeding of some wounded sea creature or whatever. These are sharks coming for their feeding frenzy, okay? So, but it's not just a bunch of wishful thinking on the part of competing news networks. No, CNN really is collapsing. And this week has been nothing short of the crown of CNN's total failure as a supposed news network. Again, we can go on and on. Examples abound as to why CNN is failing, but I want to focus on some 5 or 6 reasons here. First and foremost, of course, the Project Veritas hidden camera expose this week. We now have a recording of CNN's president Jeff Zucker admitting that the entire news content of the network is being dictated by him. Right? The news is not being run by journalists. Right? He's not a journalist, but he's a CEO. And he turns out to be a pathetic left-wing activist. Zucker is a rabid anti-Trump hater of all things conservative. And the hidden video reveals, both in terms of recordings of Zucker himself as well as the admissions of a number of CNN staff, that Zucker is actually dictating what passes as news content in CNN. And it's sad because the Project Veritas hidden camera caught CNN staff actually complaining that they came to CNN as young, idealistic journalists, really wanting to practice journalism. And they come to CNN, they're so excited, and they quickly find out that the organization literally has nothing to do with journalism. They find out that CNN is nothing more than a top-down mouthpiece for the whims and opinions and hatreds of their president, Zucker. So the cat's out of the bag. We always knew CNN was a shilling mouthpiece for all things left-wing and globalist, but now everyone can see it for themselves. I think these videos over time are going to have an utterly devastating effect on any semblance of trustworthiness that the network still has. Number 2, the Democratic debates. Now, CNN has hosted a number of debates in town halls for the Democrats of late, which really were just infomercials for globalism as far as CNN is concerned. But again, the problem here is nobody's watching them. For the last CNN Democratic debate, they got half of the audience that tuned in for the first debate back in June on NBC. Okay, that debate got 15 million views. CNN's debate got 8 million. So again, and why should we be surprised? What was there to watch? A bunch of softball questions from fawning CNN anchors lobbed to each of the Democratic candidates who can't hope to compete with the Godzilla of politics, right? Third, the Fredo Incident, right? Who could forget Chris Cuomo's total and complete meltdown? Caught on camera, with a couple of guys they took this video. They were harassing Cuomo for being a left-wing shill on CNN. He's in a public place somewhere. They're harassing him, and he just suffers this complete and total meltdown. I mean, Cuomo literally just freaks out, and he starts confronting these guys, gets very violent, very threatening, particularly against this one fellow. He threatens to throw him down the stairs. It's pretty brutal. And Cuomo became a bit of a laughingstock through all this because he claimed that the term Fredo was like the N-word for black people, right? So this guy's calling him Fredo, and Cuomo says, calling me Fredo as an Italian is like, if I were black, calling me the N-word. No one even remotely bought that, and he was mercilessly ridiculed. So, and then CNN turned around and stood by him. They stood by their man and showed that they believe violence is an appropriate response if a perpetrator's violating norms, politically correct norms. I think, are we on the fourth now? I can't remember. Fourth is of course the Molar Fiasco. For 2 years, 24/7, CNN was telling its viewers that Robert Mueller was going to bring down Donald Trump. And it turned out to be the single biggest nothing burger of the century. And CNN was just left there with their mouths hanging open, having absolutely nothing to say in response. They had all this egg on their face. And we now know that they lost a third of their audience as a direct result of their misleading reporting. Fifth, you have the Stormy Daniels affair. When the whole Stormy Daniels fiasco broke out several months back, CNN had the creepy porn lawyer Michael Avenatti on their programs. More than 6 times in a matter of a few days, okay? They devoted significantly more coverage to a porn star and her creepy lawyer than some of the most pressing issues going on in our world, which of course then leads to, I think, the sixth reason CNN is finally collapsing, and that's CNN's increasingly tabloid-based offerings. One of the things that seems to have happened under the presidency of Jeff Zucker is that CNN has become more a National Enquirer program, right? Just to give you an example, they speculated as to whether the missing Malaysian jet actually got sucked up in a black hole. I'm not kidding you. That was part of their, quote, news coverage, okay? Combine this with the kind of conspiracy theories circulating around the whole Russia collusion nonsense. Combine that with the featuring of a creepy porn lawyer dozens and dozens and dozens of times as one of their major guests. And you have a complete disconnect between the way CNN bills itself as a reputable news network and the offerings that actually air on a daily basis. And then this brings us, I think, to the seventh and final reason. That's CNN's losing its airport monopoly. We did a video of this earlier this week. A new competitor has come onto the airport scene, and that new competitor is called Clear Channel Airport. Look out for it there. It's a brand new division of Clear Channel Outdoor and an indirect subsidiary of iHeartMedia. And they've come up with a new television display that's actually signed deals with major TV networks like Fox to provide alternative content to that of CNN. But it's not just the new competition. Technology has changed since CNN first started broadcasting in airports, right? If you think about it, we now have our mobile devices, we have our iPhones, and don't discount free airport Wi-Fi, right? All of which allows travelers to now curate their own content. Curated content, like what we have here on YouTube, curated content is no longer the wave of the future. It is the present. It is the present reality. Those TV monitors are in many ways Jurassic hangovers from an earlier era. When CNN airports started back in the early 1990s, mobile devices were still up and coming, and the internet was just getting started. People got their news by staring at TV screens or by staring at monitors or reading newspapers. Those days are over. Those days are over, and they're done with. And we now curate our news content. We actively choose when we want to avail ourselves of news and current events, and where, from what source we will avail ourselves of that, right? We don't have to settle. We don't have to wait till the 7 o'clock news hour. And we sure as heck don't have to rely on network monopolies like CNN. And so this is why San Francisco International announced last year that they formally terminated their relationship with CNN and their existing contract expired. The airport just simply couldn't justify having their TV monitors held captive any longer by this monopoly. Put all of this together, folks, together with their ever-dwindling ratings. CNN is now behind the Hallmark Channel, the Food Network, Discovery, Home and Garden. They cannot even break 1 million viewers for their primetime lineup. They can't even get 1 million people to tune in to see Frodo pretend he's a news journalist, right? Put it all together, folks, and we're witnessing nothing less than the colossal collapse of CNN. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to click on that link below, sign up on our email newsletter, and like us on Facebook. Check out some of our cool merchandise in the link below. We have some awesome God Emperor Trump mugs and t-shirts that you're going to love. And please click on either our Patreon, Subscribe Star, or PayPal links below and consider becoming a monthly supporter of this channel and help us to continue to analyze current events in light of super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present light of even better things to come. God bless.